Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Emily, and if you are new here, then welcome. Today we're going to be doing a Yinyasa type of class. So it's not exactly yin, it's not exactly vinyasa, it's somewhere between the two. We're going to be focusing mainly on stretching. So it's going to be quite slow paced. We're going to stay longer in the shapes, and you shouldn't really be sweating at any point. But who knows, I always do so. And for today, if you want, you can use blocks. So they're not necessary, they're just going to help you go a little bit deeper into certain postures, but by all means, you do not have to use them. And if you don't have blocks, you can also use a pillow or maybe even a towel that you roll up into kind of the shape of a bolster. If you have a bolster, of course, you can use that too. So they can be nice, but not 100% necessary. And we're going to start off in reclined butterfly pose today. So coming all the way down onto your back, bringing the soles of the feet together and just resting on the mat here. Hands can come on the stomach and chest. And you can close your eyes and just take a moment to find grounding, to connect to yourself, to leave the day that just passed behind you or the night that just passed. And a good way, an easy way to always find connection in the present moment is to focus on your breath. So the breath is an anchor. It is always in the present, no matter what. So try to focus on the sensations that the breath creates in the body, and then on lengthening and deepening your breath. So today, as we're going to be moving a little bit slower, there are less distractions. So it's a little bit more challenging to keep your mind in the moment. So just use this as an exercise. Every time you find your mind wandering somewhere else, gently guide it back to your breath or to the sensations in the body. And let's deepen the breath, creating full yogic breaths. So when you breathe into your lower belly. When it's full, draw the breath into the chest. And then breathe in a little bit more, upper chest. Exhale, upper chest. And then squeeze the ribs together. And then squeeze the navel back towards the spine. So creating this wave-like motion. Let's take about 7 more breaths here. And last 2 breaths. On your next inhale, you can slowly bring your knees together in the chest. Hold opposite hand to opposite wrist or elbow. Maybe rock side to side, or maybe just stay still today. Try to keep your back flat and wide on the mat. Breathing deeply into the lower belly. And with each exhale, pulling the knees in a little bit tighter. And on your next inhale, let's extend the legs up towards the ceiling. And you can just start to point and flex the toes. Maybe roll out the ankles in one direction and in the other. And now let's hold on to the outer blades of the feet. Happy baby, opening up the knees wide, pulling the knees down into your shoulders, pulling the feet directly over the knees. Let's maybe rock side to side here if that feels good. And now coming back through center, we're going to bend the left knee completely. So the left heel comes really close to the left sit bone, and then straighten your right leg out to the right. 2 more breaths here. And then switch sides. Bend your right knee completely so your feet are almost touching, and then extend your left leg out to the left. And on your next exhale, let's bring the left foot in and extend the right leg out, moving 1 breath, 1 movement. Exhale, bend the right knee and extend the left leg. Bend the left knee, extend the right leg. Bend the right leg, extend the left. And let's bend both knees, bring them into the chest, and let's just rock our way up to a seat. So cross-legged seat here. On your inhale, interlace your hands behind your lower back and open up the heart. Either stay here or let's tuck the chin and bring the crown of the head down to the mat, lifting the arms away from your back. Hollow your lower belly and let's breathe. Two more breaths here. And on your next inhale, rise up, release the bind of the hands, reach the arms above your head. Now the right hand holds on to the left wrist. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, little side bend to the right. And on your next inhale, come back up through center. Left hand holds on to right wrist. Exhale, side bend to the left. And on your next inhale, come back through center. Exhale, let's roll over the shins. Come into tabletop. Uncross the legs. If you need to rearrange, you can do so. All right, and down in tabletop, let's take a moment to move in whatever direction feels good. Maybe that's simply cat and cow, or maybe you want to add some barrel rolls or figure 8 motions. Whatever feels good. I just try to move intuitively, not thinking about the movement too much, allowing yourself to be guided by your body. On your next inhale, let's come back to a neutral spine. We're going to tuck the toes and sit back on the heels and just stay here for a moment. Hands can rest in your lap, close your eyes, allow your whole body weight to rest in your heels. So it should be a deep stretch in the soles of the feet and the toes. Maybe you feel one foot more than the other. And if you don't feel anything, just wait, because very soon you probably will. And let's breathe deeply here. And finding softness even when it feels uncomfortable. Focusing on your exhales, on relaxing the body. Let's take 5 more breaths here. Hang in there. And slowly we're going to lift the hips off the heels, untuck the toes, and let's sit on the heels once again. Here you can either just stay here, noticing the after effects of that shape, or if you want to stretch the fronts of your feet, maybe the fingertips press down into the mat, you can gently lift your knees off the floor. This should not be painful. It should feel like a stretch. So if you feel that it's painful, don't go there. So there's a difference between pain, as in muscle pain, and then different pain, bad pain. Just make sure you avoid anything that doesn't feel like muscle pain. And slowly release the knees if you had them lifted. Let's come back to tabletop. Extending your right leg back, keep the right toes tucked, and just take a moment to rock back and forth. Small movements, but it feels great. Stretching the back of the right leg. And also making sure that your core is still engaged. We're not dropping the belly or anything like that. So trying to keep your spine in a nice straight line. And coming back through center, let's lift the right leg, right knee to right shoulder. Inhale, extend it back. Exhale, knee to shoulder. Inhale, extend. Exhale, right knee to shoulder, and then step your right foot beside your right hand. Now you can already bring your blocks here, maybe side by side or your pillow. And we're just going to take 5 breaths with the chest nice and open. So squeeze your glute muscles. Alternatively, you can also bring your hands on top of your right knee. Just making sure you're nice and lifted, heart space is open. And keep squeezing the left glute to protect the front of your left hip. And let's take 3 more breaths here. On your next exhale, you can either stay here or come down lower. Now, maybe on the blocks, elbows to the blocks. Maybe a little bit higher up, bringing the blocks to the second level, or all the way down to the floor. Just listen to your body. Go about 70 to 80% of your maximum. So never just riding the edge, not going all the way to it. And because we're staying a little bit longer, the body has a little bit more time to open up. Keep focusing on your breath. And I encourage you here, if you want to close your eyes, go for it. It encourages that connection to yourself, drawing the attention inwards, eliminating as many external distractions as possible. Now you can either stay here or you can come a little bit lower. Maybe that's removing the blocks. Maybe that's bringing them down 1 level, or staying exactly where you are. Let's take 5 more breaths here. And now from here, we're going to open up the hip. So I'm just going to lift so you can see. The right foot we're on the outer blade of the right foot, right toes are lifted, and the right knee goes off to the right. You can stay on your elbows or you can come onto your hands, whatever you prefer. And let's hold here. Little micro movements are always allowed if they feel good. I mean, it is always your practice, so you can always customize in a way that benefits you the most. 3 more breaths. And now if you're on your elbows, slowly come onto the hands. Let's close the right hip. We're going to send the right leg back, 3-legged tabletop. And then on your exhale, let's bend the right knee, cross the right knee behind your left knee. Let's walk the hands all the way back to the knees, so we're sitting between the heels for shoelace. Let's take a deep breath in here, lengthen your spine. Make sure you're on the outer blades of both feet. And then you can stay here, or you can fold forward. Now, if you have your blocks nearby, you can also place your blocks, prop yourself up to make yourself as comfortable as possible. So as comfortable as possible, but we're always feeling something. There's always a stretch or a compression or both. And let's keep breathing deeply here, especially when a pose feels intense. Try to breathe deeper. And let's take about 5 more breaths here. Maybe you can go a tiny bit deeper. On your next inhale, slowly rise up. Let's stay here. The right arm reaches above your head. Bend your right elbow behind your back. Either the left hand can hold the top of the right elbow and just assist in a stretch here, or left arm also bends behind your back and you can grab your fingers of the right hand coming into cow face. And again, I know these poses are not necessarily the most comfortable, but try to relax as much as possible in them. Again, always finding a place of comfort within the discomfort. And the more we seek out uncomfortable situations and put ourselves into outside of our comfort zone, the more we get comfortable, the more we expand that comfort zone. I know it sounds cliche, but it's very true. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And without slingshotting the arms, release. You can use your hands to lift the hips, and then we're just going to cross over the shins. Come back to 3-legged tabletop, extend that right leg, and then come back to tabletop. Now the left leg extends. Let's tuck the toes, rock back and forth. I know I didn't mention it, but every time we come out of a shape, try to notice and feel the immediate after effects of that shape. So maybe some changes of temperature in your arm or tingling sensations somewhere in the body. Just try to observe. Stay as connected to yourself as possible throughout this whole sequence. All right, now coming back through center, let's lift that left leg, left knee to left shoulder for 3, 2. And 1. Let's step the left foot beside the left hand. Once again, you can take your blocks. You do not have to take them. And we're just going to spend about 5 breaths, nice and tall, opening up the chest, squeezing the right glute to keep your right hip protected. And from here, let's come down onto the forearms, or you can stay exactly where you are. And hold. About 10 breaths here. And notice as well, maybe this side feels completely different to the other side, and that's completely okay. And 5 more breaths here. And slowly open up the left hip, left big toe lifts. We're on the outer blade of the left foot. You can stay on your forearms or you can come onto your hands. You can even push the knee out, but just be gentle. You don't want to go too far, about 70 to 80% of your limit. And slowly, let's come back up on the hands. We're going to extend the left leg back, 3-legged tabletop. And then on your exhale, let's cross the left knee behind the right. Separate your feet as much as you can. Walk your hands all the way back to your knees, coming into shoelace. And you can readjust if you need. Take a deep breath in here. Exhale, let's fold forward. And 5 more breaths here. On your next inhale, let's slowly make our way up. Let's stay here. Left arm reaches above the head. Bend your left elbow. Right hand can either hold the top of the left elbow, or right hand can bend behind your back and you can hold onto your left fingertips, coming into full cow face. And let's hold here. And here, try to keep lifting the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. Relax your hips with each breath out. Notice the compression in your legs, but also in your right shoulder. And just breathe through it. 5 more breaths. let's slowly release the bind of the arms. We're rolling over the shins, coming into tabletop. Extending your left leg back if that feels good. And then coming back to tabletop. Now let's tuck the toes. We're making our way to downward facing dog. Slowly lift the hips. If you need to walk your dog out, you are more than welcome to do so. Otherwise, you can just remain still. Focusing on lifting the hips back and up, on finding as much length in the body as possible. And one more breath here. And on your next exhale, let's bring the knees back down on the mat. And then we're going to bring the forearms down on the mat, coming into Sphinx Pose. You can just drop your hips down on the floor. Here, important to keep the glutes active. So you want to keep the glutes active and press the front of the hips down in the mat. So pressing the pubic bone in the mat essentially. And then you're still lifting the chest, and especially with the breath, try to breathe into the chest and lift it even more. And let's take 5 breaths here. And now you can stay here or press into your hands, keep them exactly where they are, and lift your elbows. Again, glutes need to be active. We want to avoid all compression in the lower back. If you don't feel any stretch here and you want to go deeper, you can walk your hands closer to your body, but only if you don't feel anything and you want to go deeper. And keep lifting the chest, and let's hold here for another 5. Last 2 breaths. On your next exhale, slowly release all the way down to the mat. We're going to extend the right arm out to the side so it's perpendicular to your body. The palm of the right hand faces down. If your shoulders are very open, you can lift it a little bit higher so it's on the floor. Left hand comes underneath the left shoulder, bend your left knee. Let's roll onto the right side. Now this is stretching mainly the right side of the chest, right shoulder. If you don't feel anything at all, you can come back onto your belly, readjust the position of the right hand, and then roll onto your right side once again. And let's hold here. Try to relax completely. Good. 5 more breaths. On your next exhale, let's roll onto the stomach again. Bring your right arm in. Take a moment to observe the after effects of that shape. And then let's extend the left arm out to the left. Bend the right knee, right fingertips come underneath the right shoulder. And let's roll onto the left side body. 10 deep breaths here. And just observing where you feel restriction in the body. And try to breathe against that. So maybe there's restriction around the chest area. Try to send the breath against that restriction in the chest, expanding it more, creating more space. And 4 more breaths here. On your next exhale, slowly come back onto the belly. Take a moment. And then we're going to make our way into Child's Pose. So using the hands, pressing the hips all the way back to the heels. Maybe reaching forward through the fingertips, finding a nice but gentle stretch along the spine. Let's take 5 more breaths here. And you can slowly make your way into tabletop and then downward facing dog at your own pace. On your next inhale, let's walk the feet all the way up to the top of the mat. Take a deep breath in, halfway lift. Now the right foot will cross behind the left leg and step off the mat. So you're on the outer blade of your right foot. Left foot is flat. Left knee automatically bends. Right fingertips stay down on the mat. Left arm reaches up to the sky. So you should feel outer hip glute stretch here. And on your next exhale, left hand comes down on the mat. Right leg rises, standing splits. And either stay here, maybe rolling out your right ankle, or bend your right knee, and then the left hand can reach for the top of the right foot, gently pulling that right heel a little bit closer into the sit bones. Let's slowly release that right foot. Step the right leg all the way back. Let's drop the right knee and come all the way into half split, straightening the left leg. And on your next inhale, let's come all the way into halfway lift. Exhale to fold forward. And let's bend the knees generously. Roll all the way up to high mountain. Exhale, interlace your hands at your lower back. Inhale to open up the heart. And exhale to fold forward.
2 more breaths here. On your next exhale, release the fingertips down, take a halfway lift. Now the left foot crosses behind the right leg, step it off the mat. You're on the outer blade of your left foot. Right arm reaches up to the sky. Keep reaching the crown of your head forward. On your next exhale, right fingertips find the floor, standing splits, left leg reaches up high. Either stay here or bend your left knee, right hand can hold the top of the left foot. Keep pointing your left knee up towards the ceiling. Keep folding over your right leg. On your next exhale, let's slowly step the left foot way back, come into half split, dropping the left knee down and then straightening the right leg. And now from here, we're stepping into halfway lift. Exhale to fold forward. Now let's come into halfway lift to lift your heels off the mat. Exhale, bend the knees, bring your hips down to your heels and hold. Maybe your arms wrap around your legs, opposite hand to opposite elbow. Try to lift your heels as high as possible. Let's hold here for 5. 3, 2, and 1. Extend your arms out in front of you. Let's drop the heels down on the mat. We're taking the blocks with us. Let's come all the way down to the floor with the help of the hands. All right. Now we're just going to extend the legs out in front of us. You can sit on blocks if you want. You can also bring the blocks or the pillows on top of your legs so it's easier to lie down. Flex your toes, deep breath in to lengthen your spine, and then exhale to fold forward. If you fold quite deeply and you have a lot of space, you can bring 1 or 2 blocks in front of your feet and just hold onto the blocks for a change. Relaxing your head down. Let's take 10 breaths here. Now making sure your lower belly is still active, so we're not bringing all the tension into the lower back. The lower belly is supporting it. And slowly, let's rise back up. And we're just going to take Janu Shasana mainly to stretch the back muscles. So bring your right foot against the left inner thigh. Keep your upper body pivoted towards the left leg. Deep breath in, and then exhale to fold over your left leg. About 5 deep breaths here. So if you feel that in the back, it's normally in the right side of your back, that right back muscle. On your next inhale, let's slowly rise up. Extend your right leg out, bend your left knee. Deep breath in, facing your right leg, and then exhale, two-fold. Let's slowly rise back up. We're going to bring the knees together and then come all the way down to the mat. Make sure your blocks are within arm's reach. And coming all the way down. And now we're going to prepare to go into bridge pose, but supported bridge, so with the blocks. So you can have either two blocks, one on top of the other, or just one. And you can also have one, but on the highest level, although don't go there just yet, or two on the highest level, whatever you prefer. So I'm going to start with two stacked like this, placing them underneath the lower back. So just around the sacrum, so a little bit lower than the lower back, and then just stay here. Hands can be wherever you want, maybe above the head, maybe alongside your body, and your legs can be bent, or you can straighten your legs. I just trust the block, place all your weight in it. If you need to make any adjustments, re-bend the knees, and then move. All right, and let's just hold it here. With each inhale, opening up the front body, feeling the hips stretch. And you'll really feel it if you send the breath into your lower belly, all that skin expanding and stretching. And I'm going to let you know when you can either stay where you are or go a little bit higher. And if you want, you can stay here if you're still feeling a lot. Or you can bend your knees, press the feet into the mat, maybe readjust the blocks to make them a little higher or a little lower. And so if you're on the highest level, maybe you want one block, maybe two, just make sure you are stable, because sometimes on the highest block there's not a lot of surface of balance, so take your time to readjust. And then once again, coming into position, let's hold. Now let's take 5 more breaths here. And very delicately, let's bend one leg at a time. Bring your arms back alongside your body. Let's press into the mat, tuck the tailbone slightly, and then lift the hips off the floor One vertebra at a time. Let's come down into constructive rest. Feet wide apart, knees together. And notice the immediate after effects of that shape. How flat the lower back feels, or how grounded you feel here on the mat. And we will come into our last shape, which is either supported butterfly pose or supported Shavasana. So once again, with your blocks, we're going to place them one vertical and then the other one on the highest level. If you have pillows, you can just place the pillow behind you or place the bolster. You want your hips to be down on the mat. The upper back will be supported by the first block, and then the head is supported by the second block. So something like this, and then you can choose either to have your legs straight or in reclined butterfly pose. Arms can be out by your sides, whatever you prefer. And then here again, expanding into the chest, the lungs, resting your full body weight on the blocks. And now your mission is to relax as much as possible. With each breath out, releasing tension that you might still be holding on to. Especially in places like the muscles in the face, or the fingertips, or the toes. Just encouraging your whole body to relax and soften. Let's take 5 more breaths here. Last 2. And you can slowly remove the block underneath your head first. Use your elbows to lift your back. Remove the second block. Come all the way down into Shavasana. Take your time to get comfortable. Let's extend the legs out, the arms alongside the body. Take a deep breath in through the nose. And exhale through the mouth. Allow yourself to completely let go. To notice all the effects of the practice in the body. Noticing if you feel heavier or if you feel like you're taking up more space. Just paying attention, observing without any judgment.
encourage you to stay longer in your Shavasana. But whenever you're ready, you can slowly start to move. You can gently start to reinvite movement into the body and just paying attention to how everything feels. And maybe you're still in Shavasana, maybe you're in a comfortable seat right now. Wherever you are, I encourage you to check in with yourself, to notice how you're feeling, to notice if there are any shifts in energy or how you feel just physically in your body between now and the beginning of the practice. On your next inhale, let's reach the arms above the head. And then you can bring your hands to the heart space and just take a moment to find gratitude towards yourself for this time that you dedicated entirely to you, to nothing else but you. Thanking your body for the practice and anything else that you feel grateful for. And as you go forth into the rest of your day, may you have peace in your thoughts. May you have peace in your words, and may you have peace in your heart. From my heart to yours, namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today for this practice. I hope you enjoyed the chill vibes. I definitely did. So yeah, leave a comment if you did, and if you're not subscribed already, please do so if you enjoyed the video, of course, because I post every single week. And if you want to be notified, you can always click that little bell and it will let you know as soon as my next video is live. That's it from me. Have a wonderful day and see you soon.